Namaste, Sai Ram, and Jai Mohanji. I welcome all of you for this evening talk. Today is Thursday, Guru's Day, and I just got inspired to speak today, this evening, about something which is very important, about my connection to Mohanji and Sai Baba, Shirdi Sai Baba. And it's a truth that I realized over the time, and many things that happens, something that not as a huge miracle to show something tangible or big materialistic thing, but it's a truth that shows the effect, the presence, and the truth. So let me start with um, a very simple step. Uh, that I met Mohanji in 2015, and when I met him in July that year, um, my connection, the foundation of my connection to Mohanji was Lord Sri Jagannath. That was 2015 July, and the entire year of that year and the next year, I discovered uh, the presence of Mohanji in my life as with the essence of Lord Sri Jagannath. It was in 2017 January. I was spending some time in a therapy center where Mohanji as well was there. And I always had this doubt in my head. Doubt is always there in mind. And I always had this doubt that how come I have, Mohanji, is Mohanji really my guru? So is it really that I have a living master, a living guru who is in my life? Am I that blessed to have a guru's presence in my life? This was something unbelievable for me. So, and I had always this question in my head, because in this life, knowingly, I have not done any sadhana. I have never really desired for having a life master. So, so how is this possible? Is it even true? It's it's difficult for me to understand. So I asked Mohanji. We were there in this therapy center, and in a very naive way, I asked Mohanji, "How is Mohanji that you blessed? You came to my life. What have I done to deserve this?" And Mohanji said spontaneously and very naturally, saying that we have been connected for lifetimes. We belong to the same tradition, and Guru Mandala loves you. So he said it very simply and very simplistically as well, very naturally. From these sentences, all I understood is just the first line, that we have connected for lifetimes. The next two lines, I didn't really understand what does it mean that we belong to the same tradition, and what is this Guru Mandala who loves me. But I left it. I didn't ask him any more question. Later that year, many things happened, and I went through a lot of transformation in my life with Mohanji's grace. So middle of that year, around May, June, Mohanji was traveling to London. He came to London, and with immense grace, that is the first time when Mohanji also stayed in my home in London. So one of the days, one of the evenings, we had a program, Mohanji Satsang meditation and Satsang program. So since Mohanji was staying in my home, I was in charge of taking him, driving him to the hall while people were, just ending meditation, and then Mohanji walks into the hall, and he will take his place and start the satsang. So by the time we arrived the venue, people were already, towards the end of the meditation. So I stayed at the door because the hall was obviously, dark, and the meditation was going on. Mohanji entered inside the hall through a different door, and he went to the stage and he sat in his chair, and I was standing at the door. And it was pitch dark. And it was a beautiful energy in the space, in the place that more than 100 people were meditating. So I tried to look towards the stage, trying to get my eyes adjusted to that darkness and trying to spot where Mohanji is sitting. And I was looking towards the stage. Next to Mohanji's chair, on a table, we have a small statue of Shirdi Sai Baba, a white marble statue. My eye suddenly went towards that, though it was not visible because it was very dark. There was no light, but my eye just went there, and I could feel that I saw this white marble statue of Shirdi Sai Baba, and suddenly it became very, it glowed, and as if I'm actually seeing Baba's idol in in proper light. And I couldn't believe my eyes that I was actually feeling and I was seeing Baba in so bright. Even this whole room was, this whole hall was dark. It was very clear, and then for a moment this thing came. Oh, Baba, I'm seeing Baba. And then I heard a voice. This voice that came, immense, deep, but with so much of loving, compassionate voice that said, my dear child, you thought I forgot you. That is why I came to you as Mohanji. And the moment I heard, I got shivers in my whole, goosebumps in my hand, and I was startled. Did I just hear Baba? Because first I saw Baba's murti, Baba's idol glowing, very prominently glowing, crystal clear, and then I heard this. And at that moment, I'm thinking, what did Baba say? When did I think that Baba forgot me? And then I got a flashback. This flashback, I will take you 20 years before that. I actually visited Shirdi, to Shirdi Sai Baba for the first time in my life in 1996. And when I visited there, Shirdi, with a friend of mine, I went there as someone that Shirdi is a famous place that Baba is known to grant people's wishes, and people go there to pray. So I went that day. I had a particular problem or issue that I went with, and I prayed to Baba. And when I came back, in this is back in 1996, when I came back, I carried a small photograph of Baba, and I kept that, and the udi, it was there in my purse. And I started from that day. Somehow I started just, anything important, I started chanting Om Sai Ram. So there were things that, to cut the long story short, in my life after that, everything that happened, in many milestones, important things that happened in my life, and every time I called, I reached out to Baba in my in my prayers, and all those were fulfilled. Eventually 3 years later, in 1999, I came to London, and maybe in a year's time or so, I can't remember the exact date, but after coming to London, once I was somewhere reading on the internet or something like that, and I read an article which said that when you cross the seven seas, when you go out of India, then Baba's power reduces. And this was a very astonishing, surprising statement to read. But I remember my immediate reaction when I read that statement. I thought, huh, Baba, is it true? So now that I have come out of Bombay and of India, and I'm in London, will you forget me? Will you not look after me anymore? This thought, in a fraction of second, this thought came in my mind. And but that's it. After that, of course, I didn't take it further notice. And so this was back in in the year 2000, probably, or late 99 or something like that. But that doubt had come that day. Over the year, all these years passed. After that, children happen, and life in general happened, busy work, family, etc., etc. I went some time back into to India, and I visited to Shirdi, took my children to Shirdi, but never that thought had come across in my mind anymore. And now in 2017, suddenly when I heard this sentence, that you thought, my dear child, you thought that I forgot you, that is why I came to you as Mohanji. And this 17 years back, that one silly thought that had come in my head, I'm hearing this from Baba. I knew it is Baba because I saw him and then I heard this. And I couldn't, believe that so far till that time, for me, Mohanji was in a form of Lord Jagannath. And now I'm hearing from Baba himself that I came to you in the form of Mohanji. And this is not my hallucination, this is not my imagination. I've never even thought that sense. And the way it happened, the way Baba's idol just became so, glorious. And I saw him so clearly and then heard this beautiful voice. I can't just think it otherwise. So I knew, I had no doubt that what he said, for me, Mohanji is Baba. 6 months later than that, after that incident, I had an opportunity to go to Shirdi. And I was going to Shirdi because Mohanji was there, and I wanted to just meet him before going and starting my HSTUI teachers, yoga teachers training. So as I was going, I was about to go board the, just 2 hours before boarding the flight, I got an bad news that my father-in-law was admitted into the ICU because he had some kidney failure. So um, at this point of time, we couldn't do much, travel, cancel the travel plan or anything like that. But of course, my husband was worried. So all we decided that, okay, let me reach Mumbai, and from there, depending on the situation, how the status is, either I go to my in-laws, where in the hospital where he is, or I if and we'll see whether I get a chance to go to actually go to Shirdi. In the flight, there was only one thought, one prayer, that Baba, this has been 13 years since I have been to Shirdi after this, till that time. So I had this prayer the entire 10 hours of journey to Mumbai from London. I had only one thought, that Baba, I thought I'm going to Shirdi. I thought that I will meet you after 13 years, and I thought I'll meet Mohanji. But maybe I may not be able to go if I have to go to the hospital, and that's the call of duty. But I surrender to you. If you really want me to come to Shirdi, if you want me to come to you, I will come. And then I land next morning in Mumbai airport, and fortunately, my in-laws said, there were other relatives there, and I really don't need to go at that time. If needed, I'll come later. So they advised me to continue as per my plan, and I went to Shirdi. That evening, as I reached, I somehow managed to get into for the to go and visit Baba in the Samadhi Mandir for the Shej Aarti, the evening night Aarti, around 10 p.m. So I queued up and I walked. As I walked into the Samadhi Mandir, the main hall, as I stepped into that, a huge energy just moved into my body. And I felt that I'm stepping into my home. This is, I'm coming, I have been to this temple many times before while I was in India, and this is, I'm coming after 13 years. I was thinking while I was waiting in the queue that when meet Baba, when I see Baba, I'm going to pray to him about my father-in-law who is in the ICU. So I'm going to pray all that, but as I stepped in there, I just froze. This is a feeling of that I've come back home. And as I moved, and the first glimpse of Baba's face, my eye, when it fell on Baba's face, I saw the face, and what I'm seeing is Baba's face and Mohanji's face morphed. I'm seeing behind Baba's face, it's Mohanji's face. And I just froze there. What am I seeing? Baba and Mohanji's face morphed. That time again, once again, that voice of Baba rang in my head, on my ears, that I came to you in the form of Mohanji. And this was, I'm experiencing, I'm witnessing that time, that I'm looking at Baba's idol, I'm looking at his face, I'm looking at his eyes, but I'm actually seeing Mohanji's face. And I just forgot why did I come here. That I had a, I had a thought of praying to Baba about my father-in-law. Nothing else came. No thoughts. I was only watching, only witnessing Mohanji's face, Baba's face, and I stood there like a rock in the corner. I slipped to the corner. I didn't even move. I just stood there. I froze, and I was just looking. No thoughts, no prayers, no wishes. As if time never passed, as if 13 years has not happened, as if I was here all the time and I'm seeing Baba live as Mohanji. I don't know how long I stood there, till the time they allowed, and obviously, ultimately, I came out. And then when I went out, you know, um, I felt that I should go to Dwarkamai and sit down and meditate in the night. So I went to Dwarakamai and sat down near the pillar where Baba used to cook food. So that was just a place, only place vacant. Everywhere else, people were sitting. So I just went and sat there, and I thought, okay, now I'm ready. I will meditate. Suddenly, I saw a brown dog that came, and it came and stood right in front of me and turned its head and looked at me. So, the way it looked at me, I said, I just stroked my hand on its head, and then it sat down. Then I thought, oh, you want me to stroke you more? Okay, all right, I'll continue. So I kept stroking on his head, on his back, and then it settled down as if, it's going to sleep, just turning its head towards me, and peacefully he got settled there. And I kept stroking and stroking. And then I don't know how much time it went, maybe 10-15 minutes. And I'm thinking, Baba, I thought I've come here to sit and meditate, but okay, is this what you want me to do, to stroke you? And okay, if that's what you want, then let it be. So I kept stroking, no thoughts. I'm still, the image of Baba's face and Mohanji's face together was there, and time passed. And then I thought, okay, now I need to go back to my hotel and rest. So as I stopped, I got up, and the dog was there for some time. Then I went to the dhuni, and I turned around and looked. The dog was not there anymore. So I just silently thanked Baba to have given me darshan in whichever form. And I felt that was my meditation, that was my dhyan, and I came back. So that was, back in 2018 when all this happened. 2019, um, in August, I was traveling to Denmark as part of my work. And just before, 3-4 days before going to Denmark, I suddenly received a Sai Satcharita book from friend from Tajinder Bhaiya in Birmingham. And he sent, and this book landed with me. I'd like to show this book. This book landed in my home on, on a Thursday in that month, just before I traveled. I was traveling on Monday to Denmark. So I have never read Sai Satcharita before. I never had this book with me before. I don't know why, but I never had it. So because this had reached to me, I thought, okay, I will carry with me to Denmark. I can read on the airport, on the flight. And while I was in the hotel during, the week stay, I started reading it. And as I was reading, the initial part where Hemat Pant was explaining about Baba and how he started writing this book, I felt many words, many sentences are the sentence that I would have, expressed to Mohanji in the past during our communications. And I said, the moment I was reading and come across such a sentence, I think, this sentence is exactly what I have written to Mohanji before. So how is that this exact sentence coming when I have never read this book before? So once I, as a very childishly, I wrote to Mohanji and wrote the same thing. I said, Mohanji, I'm reading. I got this book and I'm started reading Sai Satcharita, and but I'm feeling that how is this many of things that Hemant Pant wrote to Baba or wrote about Baba is something that I have written to you as well. So then Mohanji maybe said jokingly or whatever, he said, many things that you did not do complete in that life, it's now time to complete in this life. And I'm wondering, uh, what did he actually mean? And as some of you may know that I handle the testimonials of Mohanji testimonials. So over in next few days, I realized that while we go through so many testimonials that people write and we publish it, I realized that this all are nothing but Satcharita. This is all Mohanji Satcharita. So, through Sai Satcharita, Baba again gave me the indication that it is the time for you to do Mohanji Satcharita, to bring out Mohanji Satcharita. Something, it's a time that don't ignore in this life. And the moment I got this thought or this, understanding, I wrote to Mohanji and asked his permission. Mohanji, can we bring out Mohanji Satcharita? This was 20. That year was 2018 October was Baba's 100th year of Mahasamadhi, and with Mohanji's permission, on that year on Baba's Mahasamadhi, we actually started doing a series on of Mohanji Satcharita. And then from there, the thought came to mind that why just blogs? Why just online? Why not a book like Satcharita? I understood how powerful this book is just to hold this book in hand. We feel it's not just merely a book to read stories, or it's not about a book about literary excellence. This book has got Baba's energy. So anyone who has got this book feels as if they are holding Baba's hand. So I realized that when we bring out a book for Mohanji Satcharita, that would be the book where it's that you will feel Mohanji's energy. You will feel Mohanji's presence just by holding that book. And the moment this thought came that when we bring out a book with Mohanji Satcharita, you can just carry that book in your bag, whether you're reading the stories or not reading. You carry that book with you in your hand, in your bag, in your purse, in your laptop bag. You are actually carrying, you are ensuring that Mohanji is traveling with you, Mohanji is there with you. And I just couldn't ignore this thought. And again, I reached out to Mohanji and asked his permission. Can we please publish a book with your Satcharita? And Mohanji, blessed, he never says no. And that was the beginning of Guru Lila book. So 3 months later, in January 2019, the first Guru Lila book was published with Mohanji Satcharita. So and from there now you may know that we have 5 Guru Leelas been published since then. Um, and that was the start of, again, one connection of, I don't know what I missed in previous lives. I never asked to Mohanji further after that, but I just felt that I know that in this life I need to complete. So that was about Baba and Mohanji. So from that day that I saw Baba and Mohanji together in Shirdi's Samadhi Mandir, I never I never thought Baba and Mohanji are different, especially when I heard it from Baba. And after that particular incident, I have never heard his voice again. Maybe I don't need it anymore, because for me, Mohanji is Baba. you know yes, he looks different, he talks different probably. I don't remember how Baba talked before. I don't have any memory of when Shirdi Sai Baba was in his life, but I know that for me, Mohanji is Baba. So I never say Mohanji and Sai Baba, I say Mohanji is Sai Baba. So it's everyone's faith and everyone's belief, and I respect everyone, but that's the ultimate truth for me. A funny thing that happened, and I must say this last year, exactly this time, December in 2021, there was a event program in Shirdi that Mohanji was doing a retreat. I was traveling to India, but I couldn't go to, I was in India, but I couldn't go to the Shirdi program. But I was meeting Mohanji in Mukambika just after the Shirdi program. And when I was coming to Mukambika, Shirdi program was over, I got a message from someone, Rajesh or Anand, saying that, Mohanji has got idol, Baba's idol, and Udi and Shirdi sand for you to carry back to London when you go and hand it over to Skandavel. So I said, okay, sure, I will carry it. But after meeting Mukambika, I was not going to London directly. After Mukambika, I was going to Odisha to meet my parents. And from Odisha, I would go to London in 2 weeks' time or a week's time. So when we met in Mukambika, and from there we were leaving after darshan and everything, then Mohanji called me to his room, and he handed over the idol of Baba and said to me that you take this, and in this box there is also the udi and the sand, and he said take Baba, carry Baba as Baba is your son, and take care of Baba, carry him on your lap till you reach London. Don't put him in your luggage. Don't put him in the shelf or anywhere. Carry him on your lap till you reach London. So I looked at Mohanji, and immediately thoughts races in my head that, okay, now I have to do actually two flights. No, three flights, because from Mangalore to Bangalore, one flight, then Bangalore to Bhubaneswar, one flight. Then after a week, we will return from Bhubaneswar to Delhi and Delhi to London. So there are four flights that four times I have to go on flight, and I carrying Baba on my lap. So will they actually allow me to carry Baba on my lap? And the thought came, I did not open my mouth and I surrendered. I said, Mohanji, you take care of it. You take care of it because it is your command. You take care of it. And while reaching, till we even reached to Mangalore airport, we were traveling by car, and I was sitting in the front seat holding Baba, which is Baba's idol in the box, but I was holding Baba on my lap. And everywhere we stopped, Mohanji would come out of his car and will come to my car, and I will look at and he'll ask me, is Baba fine? Is Baba okay? As if truly Baba was a little baby sitting on my lap. And I used to say, yeah, Baba is fine. He's okay. And we took the flight in Mangalore flight. I sat and I kept Baba on my lap. The air hostess didn't bother to say me anything. No issues. Okay, so one hurdle done. Reached. I got down at Bangalore. Mohanji again came in the airport to me, and I was holding Baba on my hand and said, is Baba okay? Is Baba fine? I said, Baba is sleeping. It's sleepy. It's nearly 11 p.m. So it was so, fun, joyful, but so loving, that the way Mohanji was caring and inquiring about Baba, and I was feeling that this is not a stone marble idol that I'm carrying. I was actually feeling that I was carrying a little baby. So that's how Mohanji was treating. And from Bangalore, I went to Bhubaneswar. Again, no problem in the flight. I was allowed. This is all domestic flight. And from Bhubaneswar, I went to Delhi. Again, no problem in the domestic flight. They allowed. Nobody asked any questions. When I was going from Delhi to London in international flight, all of you who travel, that they are strict. They don't allow you to even carry your small purse on your lap. They will say, put it under the chair, in front of you, your seat. And this is a big box, right? So I was thinking, and as I was going to my seat, I was still holding the box in my, like I'm carrying my child. And I was looking, in most of the seats had one seat vacant. So in my front row, in my left row, in my back row, on my right row, every row had one empty. And I thought, maybe I'll be lucky that in my row, the next row, seat will also be empty, so that I can keep Baba there safely, and I can put the belt and Baba can be there, and the air hostess will not say anything. And as I thought, I was very happy and I thought that will happen. But in a moment's time, as I went and sat, somebody else came and my row was full. So everywhere else, there was one seat empty, but my row was full. So I had to keep Baba on my lap. But as a miraculous way, the air hostess did not ask me anything. They did not ask me to, keep on the top or keep somewhere else. Nothing, no questions asked. And I laughed to myself. I said, okay, this is silly me thinking of putting Baba in a different seat when Mohanji said, carry him on your lap, you know. And so, yes, here I go. I have to carry him on my lap. And no questions asked, no hurdles were there, and I reached London carrying Baba. So, and then of course after a few days, we sent Baba to Skandaville. But that incident was so funny, so joyful, but also it gave me the feeling of Mohanji's connection, and how he made sure. And then 3 months later, this year March, Mohanji was going to Canada, and I was traveling with him to Canada. And there in Canada, from Toronto, we went to Vancouver, and on the return, in Vancouver, we went to a Shirdi Sai temple, and there people gifted Mohanji one more Shirdi Sai Baba idol, as you can see in behind me. And then again, Mohanji handed over that to me and said, carry this to London on your lap. So from Vancouver, I carried Baba again on my, and this time I didn't even, the thought didn't even cross my mind. I just reminded about the incident, but it didn't cross my mind. And then from Vancouver, it came to Toronto, and then later, after a few days, from Toronto to London, again carrying Baba in my lap, no questions asked, and we came to London, and Baba is sitting here. So this just, the small things just shows me that, to know Baba's presence, to know the truth of Baba, that Baba exists for me today in form of Mohanji. I don't need any materialistic miracles. Baba's presence is always there because Mohanji is there. And I don't need to say Mohanji and Baba, or Baba and Mohanji. For me, they're one. Um, no disrespect to anyone who are devotee of Baba. Everyone's devotion is respected, and it's their own devotion. For me, Baba is Mohanji. That's his command. I understood, and I take it that way. And I'm just so grateful that every point, Baba is guiding me in form of Mohanji, guiding me all the time. And I'm just so grateful that he's present in my life. He's present in all our lives. So thank you, Mohanji. Um, and thank you, Baba, for being in my life, for filling my life with so much of grace. When I understood what Mohanji had said in my first question, that how come you are in my life? And when he said that we belong to the same tradition, I understood that he talked about Datta tradition, and that is why Mohanji and Baba are same. And when he said that the Guru Mandala loves you, I feel the love, the immense love of Guru, the immense love of Sai Baba, and the immense love of Mohanji for me, that nothing can ever compare that. So I will be lack of lack of words to say, but all of you who have felt grace of Baba, who have felt the grace of Mohanji, you will understand what I mean. So koti koti pranams Baba, koti koti pranams Mohanji, and lots of love to all of you who have been listening to me. And sorry, it's been a long talk, but I just wanted to share this today on Thursday, on Baba's Day. Love you, Mohanji. Love you, Baba. Jai Mohanji. Om Sai Ram.